Yes, Amit. So good morning. And Amit comes with almost close to 2 decades of experience, having worked in DevOps and SRE. We're just going to do a small exercise on how to improve. I think, Amit, you're there or you're lost?
No, I am here. I am here.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to do a small exercise on seeing how you can actually improve your articulation skills and how you talk about and storytell around your achievements. Amit, please go ahead and talk about what you've been doing so far, and what are your aspirations for the next 4, 4, 5 years, and what is the kind of work that you have done across, and what has brought you here this far, and what are the kind of skills that you've acquired, and where do you see yourself like 4 to 5 years from now? Yes, please go ahead.
Thanks, Kiran. Hi, Kiran. Myself is Anubhav, and I have around more than 18 year experience. And where I can say around 14 years, basically, I work on different kind of technology like a DevOps, I can say observability, automation, and different kind of aspect, basically. So my experience, if we say overall, is basically in the terms of I started my career as a build and release, and then I moved to a DevOps, automation, and observability. So I can say almost like a one complete like one of the almost a 10 year I am working in all the aspects. I work various product is basically my mostly experience in product company where I have to lead basically to the all DevOps area from end-to-end delivery I can say about it. So if you see basically my career aspects and basically I work many of the tools in terms of automation, DevSecOps. I did a very hands-on experience, even the leading experience in basically SRE and DevOps world where I can say the project has to be deliver end to end because as you know now this word is very critical because the operational and the leading part for the any project is basically leading the market basically how it has to be work. So if I say about my journey to complete from last decade is completely surrounding this all aspect I can say automation, DevOps and all and various tool in terms of the observability. And if I say about my aspiration in next few years, basically I have to be a kind of a leader where I can help to the any organization to develop their skills in the DevOps and the SRE part of that, or maybe automation. Because as you know, now that now the things are changing very hardly to from X to Y technology. But this basically help us, this field basically help us to basically drive the things very fast manner. Because you know the delivery very fast. We are in working on the agile methodology right now, and we have to very fast. We have to adopt the client requirement very adopting very fast because it was earlier is a waterfall method, but it was agile night right now. We have to be adapt the requirement from the client in very fast, and this complete DevOps and SRE has to be help us to organization to deliver very fast, right? So this is kind of thing I can say about myself. Yeah, Kiran.
Okay. I think so. A couple of changes. So one is you are sentence formation. You kind of need to improve in some places, and like you said, companies need it very fast. Instead of saying very fast, what you should be saying is you help companies go to market quickly, and of course they want the entire pipeline from design planning till production to be quick and fast and agile, and there should be business agility across the life cycle. So you should use those kind of words. So there should be a lot of good agility from your development till production, and any slow moving parts in the whole process you are going to fine tune and make it faster. So you should say, using my DevOps experience, my DevSecOps experience, I kind of reduce the lag time between the various work streams or the downward work streams, and ensure that the go to market is faster and business agility is achieved end to end, and you are able to deliver faster, quicker, and bug free software at the same time, and secure software, because also you're doing DevSecOps.
Security. Yes, yes.
DevSecOps. So you should say secure software also. And I've been using a lot of shift left kind of policies. And the fact that security should not be an afterthought, we are actually plugging it very early in the life cycle, right from my requirements level all the way to design development. And so that's what we are doing. And I've used a good amount of tools in this area, along with concepts such as observability, scalability, reliability, performance, automation, to make sure that we are delivering on stringent SLAs and the KPIs what are required to be achieved. So that's what we've been doing. So you just need to polish your language a bit and speak a bit slowly also. It should not be fast.
Okay.
So learn to speak a bit slowly also, because that gives the impression that you are confident about what you're saying.
Okay. Got
Yeah,
it.
just take pauses, take enough breath, take enough breathing exercises. You do some breathing exercises before you meet your potential, interview board. Do some breathing and then talk slowly and measured sentences. After a sentence, give a small break
Okay.
and then this thing. So it gives a very good impression that this guy is collecting all his thoughts and making a good impression. That's what people want when they look for leadership material, that
Mhm.
he's able to cohesively address all the problems at hand, and his thinking is very structured, and it's a very unique way in which he is presenting his thoughts and he's enlightening us about what he has done. And if you can story tell around your achievements, that'll be even great. So I'll tell you some strategies on how you can actually story tell. So for instance, you can say that there was this DevOps pipe we were actually working for one of the clients, say Wells Fargo, and then Wells Fargo had three different pipelines, one for prod, one for pre-prod, and one for production. And then they were slow turnaround times when we were actually having a patch which had to go to the customer. So we tried to mimic the prod and the pre-prod so that as soon as it gets vetted out in the pre-prod, so we are able to quickly replicate the success there and then go to the prod area. So you have to create that element of storytelling in it by means of bringing in some facts and figures. So let us say you're taking the example of some Wells Fargo as a client. So Wells Fargo is in the business of, let us say they're doing
Investment banking.
investment banking. So there, let us say you're handling a lot of financial instruments. So bring all those things into your language and say, okay, for this financial instrument, they want the mortgage to be quickly delivered to the client. Otherwise, you'll lose the high net worth individual's investment if you're not able to confirm the mortgage within a week or two after he signs up with you. So, given the fact that we have such limitations, we have to be very quick and fast and agile in terms of delivering our patches and fixes, so that Wells Fargo is able to quickly respond to their customers and able to have much quicker delivery pipelines. So much quicker delivery pipelines means better business for Wells Fargo and better business, slower pipelines ensure slower business pipeline. For instance, the Google search, if you look at it, even if Google search is slow by a few milliseconds, like 10 or 15, they lose
Then how much
millions.
business they will lose? Yeah.
Yeah, they will lose millions in ad revenue by having a slow algorithm. So
Right.
that's the advantage of automation. That's the power of automation. That's the power of Gen AI, which we are using, along with principles of DevSecOps, scalability, observability, and all the SRE best practices that we are doing, so that we are maintaining efficient and quicker pipelines. So you have to use these all mix
All work.
business, mix domain language, mix your client's problem, and then you story tell your achievement. That gives a much more powerful impact on the person who is listening to it, rather than saying, okay, I just use Grafana or Kafka, and I just
Mhm.
optimize the pipeline and
Yeah,
then.
yeah. Tools wise, I think they will not. Basically, they are thinking about like how you are
Yeah, because
broadly
they
thinking.
already know that you know quite a bit about it because you worked extensively for almost 2 decades. You are aware of the tools. They're looking at how you can actually story tell your achievements in a fashion in which you are able to motivate a team, build a team. So, end effect is, who are you serving your customers? So, what are the customers gaining out of this? So, if Wells Fargo is the customer, then what is Wells Fargo going to gain from the whole thing?
Yeah, how you're contributing and what they are achieving with your contribution.
Exactly. Well, that you have to get the domain knowledge, the business knowledge in your conversation, and then you have to kind of mix it with the technology pieces that you're doing and story tell it in an interesting fashion.
Mhm.
Like for instance, I told you, like people come to you for mortgaging, and then they want some immediate loans to be sanctioned as financial instruments. So if your feature time takes a lot of time, then obviously the loan approval time, everything takes a series. So just try to include, this is just an instance. So just try to bring in those kind of elements into your conversation, where you're mixing domain language also with your technical,
Achievements.
yeah, along with your achievements and technology information. Then they know that, okay, this guy he can balance both technical as well as business side of things. So he can be a potential good fit for being a leader. So they get
Yeah,
that
yeah.
impression that you are able to manage those parts well.
Like as I told you, like currently our client is Ericsson, and we are basically I am working on the project basically where we are implementing a lot of security tools basically, and then they are helping us. They are helping from them basically to remove the all open source softwares. So currently I am basically working on that, and because they are getting a lot of kind of scrutiny from the different clients, like given a Docker desktop, give an example. It's a free software, but when you're using an organization, it's a chargeable. So currently the problem is there basically that Ericsson did not know how many Docker desktop are installed in the different machines. And they got some of the number of license from the Docker desktop. But they're claiming that you are using more than that. So that problem we are solving. We are trying to remove all the software from their local machine for all the 1 lakh employee, and we are providing only via the only company portal. So this automation currently I'm working on that. So this is kind of a, as you told, like we can show them, okay, this is the achievement we did. We are trying to reduce the licensing cost because Docker is claiming we have a lot of licensing, but you are paying less. So like this, and like this is we are trying to achieve all the licensing part of that, and that's why we're trying to reduce the number of licensing costs from the Docker desktop. This is one of the example I'm saying.
But instead of Docker, what are you using typically?
So, okay, so tools wise, if you see, we are using completely a SAST and DAST is a fortified tool. It's basically for vulnerability. And we have a Sona type tool also for a kind of a library composition. So there are two tools which we are using extensively in the basically, and I'm responsible for all the AO and AD part of that. So all vulnerability part in all the organization. So recently Ericsson basically have a zero tolerance of the vulnerability policy. So extensively everybody has to be go through this tools and scan their pipelines. And if something goes wrong, we have to be revert back. So it's basically started on the code, Docker, and all container side as well. So this all security pipeline basically we
No,
currently.
so if you're saying you're not using Docker, so my question is, what is the alternative for
No,
Docker?
Docker we are using, but only with the company portal, not directly. So currently, what happened? Docker desktop available freely on the Docker website, so anybody can go and download. So the problem right now with the Ericsson, they are not able to know how many users are using, because we are using suppose 2000 user, and we bought a license 2000, but end of the year, Docker is claiming you are using 5000. So the 3000 is missing. So we are using Docker desktop only, but via the proper portal or through the SSO sign in. So we get to know who is downloading. So licensing has to be assigned for that guy. So this is the kind of so we have to use Docker desktop, but the license has to be in a right position right now. So that was a problem facing. Yeah. So that's why everybody has to use, but only the via the right channel.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the fact that you're going to be doing this actually means that you are optimizing on the cost. So what actually you need to inform them is the fact that you are able to optimize on the cost is one thing. So what you need to tell is, let us say Facebook was using a paid version of uh, Oracle, or if they use some paid databases, actually they are using their own databases now, including database. So if they're using that, then they are able to, otherwise they would have gone bankrupt many times over, because their
Yes,
speed of
yes.
operations is so high that
Hmm.
they cannot work with paid software at all. So that is one thing, that is a good cost advantage. The other advantage that I see from your thing that you can articulate is, we are using Docker. One is, of course, to ensure that we cut down on, keep a check on the cost and cut down on that. The other is we are all using Docker from a centralized push, which is available from the portal instead of individual desktop-based Docker licenses, because we don't have a count on the licenses sprawl that is happening across individual machines. So to create a kind of central accountability also, we are using it from a central portal. So that is how you will have to, bring out the advantages of what you are,
Advantage.
yeah, what you're saying as a to the somebody who's hearing you, that
Yeah.
you need to tell that. But otherwise, they will your ability to storytell comes down. So if you just say cost, you just say that's a good thing that you told. But along with that, you should also say it's managed from a central instance. So all the Docker instances are going to be licensed from the central portal instead of lying around in individual machines on the machine. So that is central accountability, and we have a check as to how many Docker licenses are actually in place in the company,
Mm-hmm. Got
that
it.
sort of stuff. So you need to kind of bring in those aspects in your language, in the way you talk, the way you present. This is one instance of that. And be more confident while you're talking, and do a lot of deep breathing exercises. Take breath and don't try to talk quickly. uh,
Mm-hmm.
just take relax, just be relaxed, and then you present your facts. So that gives a very good impression that okay, this guy knows what he's talking about, and he is clear in his head what he wants to convey.
Right, right.
That sort of stuff.
Sure, 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 sure.
So these are some of the points that you can actually do, and keep listening to some tech talks on DevSecOps, and there is this company in the US which is go to Nullcon conferences, or Zero Trust. Search Zero Trust videos on YouTube, and watch those kind of things. So you'll polish the language in which you need to
Right, right, right.
present stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll get a lot of ideas on how you can actually storytell around your achievements.
Mm-hmm.
So slowly, if you keep doing that every day, watch some 20 minutes, half an hour of some good YouTube video in your space.
Yeah.
That'll, and write down some interesting ideas that you
Yeah, which can basically keep reminding me to explain the things in future, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So for instance, last mile delivery, zero trust software. So all these are all concepts, right? That you need to. If somebody asks you, okay, what is last mile delivery in your CI/CD pipelines? Can you explain that to me? So what will you say for that?
Yeah, last mile, I think I did not heard this word. Yeah, so I have.
Okay, but that's a very important DevOps terminology.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what they say is you do 80% of the time developing code and all, but the last mile takes the remaining 80% of the time, because that's where all the challenges are.
Right,
In
right.
terms of pushing it to the production, pushing it with all the bug fixes, all of that sort of stuff. So that last mile is where the major challenges are there, and you need to kind of fix those things. So that makes a big difference. So you should know such kind of concepts. What is last mile delivery? What is zero trust? All the kind of terminology in your space,
Right,
like
right.
error budgeting, and yeah, they call it any other forms of budgeting that you have, any other forms of ensuring that chaos, for instance, chaos engineering.
Yeah,
So
chaos engineering that I
yeah,
work.
yeah,
Yeah,
you should
chaos
learn about
engineering.
chaos monkey and
Yeah,
chaos
yeah.
engineering.
Monkey, yeah. Chaos engineering actually I
Yeah,
work because
yeah, and
yeah.
how you actually done something like that. One second. Yeah, so basically, you need to be aware of all the terminology in your landscape, and effectively weave stories around those things. Not just knowing them, also create interesting stories around those things. For instance, how, like, you should have some anecdotes to share around what you have done. Anecdotes is like how did you fix certain complicated issues.
Because
Uh,
that is a common question everywhere when you are given an interview. They'll ask what are the most challenges work you did basically and how you fix
the
it.
most challenging assignments. What are your
Yeah,
most challenging assignments?
assignments.
Yeah, or what is the most challenging part of your work? Or tell me one or two instances wherein you had to, whatever you designed and developed and architected really made a difference to the customer. So
Right.
you should be ready for those kind of stories,
Mm-hmm.
using some real facts from your experience, pull out those from your experience, and tell them in an impressive fashion. So I'll help you polish these things. So next time you just, from your projects, make a list of all these things that is there, and then I'll tell you on how you can actually polish it and make it better.
Right, right, right. Cool. So, okay. That's fine. So Kiran, like the portal, I already started that at least half an hour daily to listen from the mobile because as we discussed, right? So whatever the DevOps thing, even other thing also, I am started and try to listen the other stories so we'll understand better how the things are going on and what the challenges are there. And I did not start it yet. This basically noting them. So I'll start noting them
Yeah,
also.
just write down in a pen and paper what your challenges are,
Mhm.
and then what queries you've got on tops of those things. And on the job, how do you kind of use those concepts? So just write down whatever comes to your mind about those concepts, and then I'll help you, prepare for those.
Sure, sure. Got it.
Right? So I think let us stop the interview right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can I
Thank you.
get this recording? This one?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. Thanks. Thanks.